Now, the last topic that I wanted to mention is, and I know I've said previously that I really don't have an interest in politics, and it's just something that I generally avoid. It's not something that I really want to get into, and I always say I really don't want to go there, but I always find myself, I don't want to say being forced to, but it's almost like you can't avoid it, because being a member, being a part of any community, you always find yourself in a situation where your opinion does, whether you like it or not, matter. And you are influencing other people, whether you see it or not, whether you recognize it or not. Everything you do is looked at, and you are being judged. I mean, that's just the way life is. You're being judged for any time you say something or do anything. So that's why, in a roundabout way, I have tried to express my views on certain issues in a way that I feel has been respectful to others, because I want that kind of respect in return. And so I do find that from time to time it is necessary for me to comment on certain issues, because whether I like it or not, those issues aren't going to go away, and they do need to be, it's like the elephant in the room. You can't just ignore the fact that it's there. Eventually you are going to have to mention it. And so I do understand that there's certainly the religious people and other religions and churches that have a real problem with my programming. And because there's LGBT events, highlights being shown from those events, and and also the fact that I myself am probably like one of the only, that I'm aware of, the only openly gay producer at a station that has the majority, well, a lot of the programming deals with very religious subject matter. And people have asked me about this many times, and how I feel about it, and what's my response to it. And I guess there really isn't, I mean, I don't have a problem with being on a station that has religious programming. I mean, if I did, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have stayed on the station for as long as I have. Clearly, it's not an issue for me. Now, whether it's an issue for others that have programs on the station, well, that's another matter. I don't know, because they don't communicate that to me. They don't tell me directly, or maybe they're afraid, or whatever the reason, or uncomfortable. But as far as I'm concerned, I understand what this station is. I mean, it's open to everyone in the community. So there are other people that are going to have views that I certainly don't agree with, that I personally have a problem with, but I have to respect those people's opinions and just deal with it, because that's the nature of what this is all about. I believe in this, or else I wouldn't be here, or else I wouldn't be a part of it. I do believe, well, of course I believe in democracy, and I believe that people have this right to be able to come and express their views in this kind of format. I guess it's a kind of, if you want to look at it as a public forum, well, that's great, because I'm all for it. I think it's a really great resource to have a station where people can do that. And I have been, I don't want to say campaigning, but I've certainly been paying close attention to what's been happening over the years with people that want to try to restrict this, or do away with it, or just eliminate it altogether. And I certainly am one of those people that's against that. I think we should be able to have a place like this where someone like myself is able to express my opinions just as much as someone else that is anti-gay. As hard as it is to admit that there are going to be people that I don't like, producing shows here, and I don't want to say it's anything personal, but people that have very harsh opinions and certainly views that I find even offensive. But that's a part of what this is. And so I can't have it both ways. You know, it's like you want to be able to say what you want to say, and you don't want to be restricted. So therefore, I know I have to give that same freedom to someone else. They have to be able to come here and say what they want to say. So it's a give and take. And I had someone say, well, don't you feel like it's almost like a trade-off, or you're compromising yourself by being on a station where you have that kind of situation? And I say no, because I knew, you know, I went into this with my eyes open. It wasn't like I was unaware. So I don't feel that way at all. I think this is really important. I think you should be able to have a place like this. You should be able to have a station where you can express your views, and no matter who it is within the local community.